We crossed into Suffolk County, still heading east toward the end of Long Island, following the Mercedes with Dmitri at the wheel, Igor riding shotgun, and Petrov and Fradkov in the back seat. Possibly this was a wild goose chase to draw half the team away from the Russian UN mission. Our Bureau core radios and our handhelds didn't work out here, but our Nextel radio feature did, so I blinged the other half of my surveillance team who was still on 67th Street, but they had nothing unusual to report. Kenny Heeb, who was my assistant team leader, also informed me that no one at 26 Fed was able to ID Igor from the PD surveillance tape, but they were working on it. The FBI never sleeps, but things move a little slower on weekends and holidays. I let my team know we were in Suffolk County following the target and would not be returning to their location for a while, if at all. I also advised Kenny to request an additional team to make sure the mission was covered. We were now beyond comfortable commuting distance to Manhattan, and the suburbs began to thin out. I looked at the fuel gauge and saw we could make it all the way to Montauk Point if we had to. I assumed the Mercedes could do the same, so there'd be no gas station stops, unless Ms. Faraday had to pee again. We were now about 50 road miles from Manhattan, and I let Tess know there's a Russian oligarch, Georgy Tamarov, who has a big oceanfront house in Southampton. Petrov has been Tamarov's guest a few times. Do we still get relieved at 4? We can ask, but it's Sunday, and I think we're it. What if they stay overnight? We take turns sleeping in the minivan. I asked her, haven't you been doing this a while? I never did an overnight. She informed me, Grant is flying in tomorrow morning. I reminded her, we are protecting the homeland. Sometimes the hours are not convenient. Don't be sarcastic. Are you sure you want this job? I am. And what does Grant want? That's none of your business. But since you asked, he's not happy about this. I'm disappointed in him. She thought a moment, then said, I'm sure it's easier if both spouses are in the same business. I didn't reply. A few miles later, she asked me, am I making a mistake? I mean, about wanting to be an FBI agent? Look inside. Your inner light will guide you. That's stupid. That's correct. We traveled in silence a while, then Tess informed me, I've applied for a gun permit. Holy shit. What is that supposed to mean? Sorry, that just slipped out. Be serious, John. I need to know if I have what it takes to carry and use a gun. I'm sure you do. Have you ever used your gun? Now and then. Did you ever, shoot anyone? What do you hear? I heard you were shot 3 times. All on the same day. Did you get them? No. Do you want to talk about this? Not at this moment. Okay. She asked me, do you have any tips? I mean, for when I go to Quantico and take the pistol qualification course. You'll do fine on the Q course, but here's a tip for when you're going to a real gunfight. Borrow money from the agents with you. It gives them an added incentive to protect you. She laughed. Remember, I continued helpfully, anything worth shooting is worth shooting twice. Ammo is cheap, and if your shooting stance is good, you're probably not moving fast enough. Tess nodded, then glanced at me. I went on. When approaching a suspect, watch their hands. Hands kill. In God we trust. Everyone else, keep your hands where I can see them. Be polite.